All right, on this one, we're going to learn how to use the fillet on the Onshape program. Because of the way this was laid out, it was very difficult to do using the isometric paper. So we've got the multi-view and the isometric view on this form. And we've got the dimensions right here that we need. So first, I want to start out by just making a block, and then we'll work from there. Okay, so it tells me that this block is 2 inches high, 6 inches wide, and I forgot to put the dimension on this, so this should be 4 inches across here. Okay. So we click on Create, Document. I'm going to call this one Fillet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just use this plane. Click on Sketch. Hide these. And as I've done in the other ones, I'm going to go ahead and use this triangle, or I'm sorry, rectangle, and use the center point rectangle. You don't have to, but this way just kind of centers it in my plane. So, all right, so this is going to be 6 inches. So I type in 6, enter. The rectangle is around my side line. I'm going to make that 4, enter. If we look at this, we're going to extrude it 2 inches. So I click on the extrude up here. The depth defaults to 1, so I'm going to click on the 1, type in 2, enter. All right, so take a minute and let's make your box. All right, now when I look at this, these corners are rounded off. It says it has a radius of 1. The R means radius. If it's got the circle through the line with the line through it, that's diameter. So this circle has a diameter of 1 inch. This outside corner has a radius of 1 inch. And to get the diameter, you just double the radius, so it actually has a diameter of 2 inches, this outside circle. Okay, so it's got a radius of 1 inch. So I'm going to come over here and click on Fillet. Okay, so it's up here on the top. So I click right there. All right, so it's asking me for the radius. According to the sketch, it has a radius of 1 inch. Then I just click on the corner that I want to round off. And then I just click on the check. Okay, so now it's rounded off these corners with a radius of 1 inch, which is what we've got right here. So take a minute, round off your corners to the 1 inch. All right, now I'm going to cut out these 2 circles and then this shape right here. My circles are 1 inch, so I'm going to start with those. And they're going to be centered with this circle. Okay, so I'm going to sketch. I'm just going to do them on the top. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on top. That way I'm looking straight down on it. I'm going to click on the circle. Now the nice thing is if I move around here, when I'm at the center of the circle that was made by that edge, when we did the fillet, it gives me that little box. That tells me that I'm centered on that circle, so I don't have to worry about dimensioning it later. So I'm going to left click, drag it out. Now here you can see that it's got the little circle in front of the number. That tells me if we're looking for the diameter on this one. Those circles had a diameter of 1 inch, so I just type in 1 and enter. Then I'm going to come over here and find that little box. Left click, drag it out, type in 1 and enter. Okay, so go ahead and draw your 2 circles. All right, now we're going to do this little slot shape here in the back. Now it has a half circle on each end with a radius of a 1/2 inch. That's 0.500. Okay, then it tells me that from the center of the circle on the right to the center of the circle on the left is 2 inches, which means the entire length is 3 inches, because it's a 1/2 inch from the radius edge of the circle right here. It's a 1/2 inch to this point. It's a 1/2 inch from the center to that side of the circle. So 2 halves make 1 inch plus the 2 inches right there. So I'm going to make a 3-inch rectangle. If the radius is a 1/2 inch, that tells me the diameter is 1 inch. Okay, so going across the rectangle when I make it, it's going to be 1 inch. And this is going to be 3 inches long. Okay, so I'm going to click on the rectangle. It doesn't matter if I use the center point or the edge. All right, so I make my rectangle. I type in 3, enter, 1, enter. Now, on this one, it doesn't show us the exact placement of this. So we're going to go ahead and center it because it looks like it's centered. If there's no dimensions there, you just kind of make it look the way it is. You will have dimensions when you do these from here on out. I'll make sure that they have the dimensions there. And I want to make it 1 inch from the back. Okay. So this is 3 inches long. The entire length was 6 inches. So what I do is take this length and this length. So I've got 6 minus 3, which leaves me with 3. Then half of 3 tells me it's 1.5 inches from each side. Okay. So I come up here, I click on the dimension. I can click on either side. I'm just going to, when the line turns yellow, I click on the line and release. Then I slide it over. When that outside line turns yellow, I click on that. And it's already 1.5 inches, so really don't have to do anything there. All right. Now the dimension, I want it to be 1 inch from the back edge, so I'm going to click on this line. Make that 1 inch. All right, now when I look at this, we need to do these half circles right here. And again, that's where we're going to use the fillet. Okay, so I come over. No, we have to extrude first. Sorry, before I do the fillet. So I'm going to click on this, go back to my isometric view. Come over here to the far left side there at the top. Click on extrude. Now it defaults to extruding 1 inch up. I don't want to add to it. I want to remove. Okay. So now it's removing 1 inch, but I want it to go all the way through. Since this is 2 inches, just type in 2. Enter. Okay. Now I want to round off the rectangle. Okay, so take a minute, go ahead and extrude that, and then we'll round it off. Okay, so now we're ready to round it off. Again, I'm going to come up here to the fillet. It's kind of toward the left up there on the top. And here it tells us that it has a radius of 0.5. So I'm going to change that 0.2 to 0.5. Now I just have to click on the line, and so I'm just going to have to kind of move it around a little bit so I can get to the lines. So I can right click and move it. Click on the inside line there. Or I can kind of use this, the arrows up here where my little cube is, to move it around. And we can click on that to move it down. Click right there. Right, so that's all we have to do to use the fillet.